ihayag ang pinakahuling kalagayan ng COVID-19 crisis sa bansa at ang mga hakbang na ginagawa ng pamahalaan laban sa pandemya. Mula sa Pangulo ng Republika ng Pilipinas, Mayor Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Ito ang Talk to the People on COVID-19.
Good day, my countrymen. We are here gathered to render a report weekly to inform the Filipino people of what's in the air, so that you would know and you would be educated and to know the truth, not from sources that are polluted and or contaminated, but purely from your government officials who are paid to do their work and to do their work truthfully. Kaya kami nandito at marami namang haka-haka palagi baski anong gawin ko ang the cabinet. Gawain mo na, masama ka pa rin. Kung hindi mo gawin, mas lalo kang masama. Either way, it's not a matter of losing the battle of wits against the opposition. On the left, who are out really to, and the NDF are out to destroy the very government under which they are enjoying the blessings of democracy. They invent stories about being harassed, killed, oppressed. Wala naman kaming nakikita at wala namang dumadating sa akin. And this extrajudicial killing, they've been harping for many years. Truthfully, nagdududa rin ako. And there was a time when I conducted a discreet hearing kung bakit. Ang dumating sa akin is that sometimes there is a rivalry of the turf. Yung teritoryo niya, kung sino ang humahawak. Pangalawa, yung who absconded, yung tinakbo yung pera. And third, yung ninanakaw yung ano nila sa street level, kinukuha, yan ang hindi natin alam. Sabi nila police, but kung ako ang pulis at ako na ay magnanakaw, maalas na rin ako sa pwesto, ituduhin ko na. Bakit kukunin yung mga street level peddler o tinatawag nilang basurero? Yan ang tawag ng yung nagpapabili. The vendor. They are called in the Tocatis parlance as basurero. So dito ko kayo marinig sa akin. Sabi ko, wala naman akong obligasyon na magsasabi ng sinungaling. Kung maniwala kayo, mabuti. Kung hindi, that is not my problem. That is what is happening in the nation. So, ganun ho ang nangyayari sa atin. And we are here to report, especially about the money. Tandaan ninyo, disabuse your mind about corruption in government. I must admit, and it would be stupid of me to invent lies, na talagang nangyari yung sa PhilHealth. And that is why the NBI, after an investigation, submitted their findings to the Ombudsman and recommended prosecution in court. Nandoon yun. Pero I said, to disabuse your mind, there are two prominent issues in the forefront today. Coming to its head, really, yung sa PhilHealth, which is really the culprit. At yun ang pinanag-usapan. At yun ang pinagdebatehan ngayon. Iniimbestiga, inihusga. Ito namang pera ng Bayanihan Act. I assure you that it has been wisely, it has been according to rules. At sinigurado ko yan at the start. Wala hong dyan, walang sindikato. Wala hong sabihin mo na may nakawan. And we will be careful with the next round of bayanihan. Is it 3? And there's still money to be, given to the people, to the poor, especially. Yun lang ho. Before I will give my part. I would say it should come from the ultimate portion of our program. At this time, we would like to hear the report of, of course, it is Secretary Duque. Secretary Duque is a hard-working government worker, and they say that, there has been a lot of things I have heard, I've read, and even some advice na dapat daw si Duque, Kauser, ilaglag ko na because hindi maganda sa aking administration. May mga tao na pwedeng ganon. You go for the safe side. And there are a lot of people who do it. Yang gusto na lang nila na mawalaan na ng problema, basta na lang, sige, paalisin mo na lang, sabihin mo. Ako po hindi ganon. Ako'y abogado, and I know what is probable cause and prima facie. These are the two phrases that are important before you can file a case in court. Problem is, I have reviewed, hindi naman yung cursory reading really. And I have yet to find yung sabi nila na ididemanda si Doki dahil may kasalanan. I have read the findings. For the life of me, I cannot really find a good reason to prosecute an innocent man. Mine is to not really prosecute just for the sake of somebody being prosecuted. My job is to see to it that the rule of law, the rules for or against a person are followed. At marami sinasabi, rule of law, hindi ka naman sumusunod, marami kang pinapatay. Wala ho akong pinatay na tao. And I never magtanong ka ng isang pulis dito sa Pilipinas. Magtanong ka kay Secretary Anyo sa DILG. Magtanong ka kay Delphin Lorenzana at may inutusan ba akong taong sinabi, patayin mo ito si Mr. Santos, Edmundo Santos, o patayin mo ito si Juan de la Cruz. I never do that. And if I just keep it in my mind because I know that whether I like it or not, there is a war going on. I cannot stop the killing of criminals and the killing of my soldiers and policemen. For after all, marami rin akong patay na pulis at marami akong napatay na sundalo, not necessarily in connection with the war against the Abu Sayyaf, but it is included. And during the Marawi siege, kasali yan. Those were of the part, the contraband that were hauled off from the place, Tunilada po. And once again, I am reminding whoever is in charge of these things, I will make a visit to the facilities saan ninyo tinatago ang droga. Ganito na lang. Kung isang bodega yan, ako fiscal. So ganito na lang. Ang ginagawa ko noon, sabi ko, Your Honor, may I request for a ocular inspection. Why, Your Honor? Because of the huge amount of shabu that we cannot guard every day. Ni masing isang kutsarang mawala dyan, ang gobyerno ang may kasalanan. So, and I also ask that the forensic guys, yung mga laboratory sa police, isama at magkuha ng sampling from everywhere. Ang judge, ang gusto niya, siya. Magpili ka ng saan mo gustong kanto, judge. And you give the judge a dozen, judge, 12 picks, whatever you want. At kung nandyan i-examine sa harap ng judge, madali lang naman yan. And if it turns blue, as what I have seen, I don't know what's the color now, shabu yan. Sasabihin ng under oath, you place the policeman who conducted the examination right there and then. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? And say, yes. Tanungin siya ng judge, is it shabu? Yes. Paano ko masiguro? Tanong ang police. Judge, kainin mo ng 5 kutsara. Pag nahilo ka, shabu yan. Ganun yan. So I want all the shabu, residual or otherwise, however minimal, destroyed the whole of it by next week. You have so many days to do it, 1 week. Do it in 1 week. Destroy and get specimen. Total, pag mag-ocular inspection, may prosecutor yan. There's the PDEA, there's the police, andyan lahat. At you can also invite the NBI, and the forensic guy of the NBI will also conduct the examination. At gano'n rin sabihin, totoo yan? Tanong ang judge, totoo sir. Paano ko masiguro? Sir, kumakain ka ng 10 kutsara, hindi ka natitindig dito. Ganon? Sige. Ganon na lang. We go by science, there's the experiment. Why do we have to put on our shoulder the burden of keeping a contraband or merchandise that can be stolen and used and recycled? Now, hindi naman lahat. Few of them, far and wide, in between the years, itong shabu. Pero, may mga pulis na ganon, ninanakaw, o kaya hindi nire-report. Yun sila asyerto, ganon ang style noon. Magnakaw, 20 kilos, i-report ang 1 kilo, yung 19, i-recycle, ipagbuli uli. And that is what was really fucking the system. So we can more or less improve things, better protect the Filipino people by doing a concerted action immediately after. Just a few, I hope the Supreme Court will agree with me, just a few days after, they should be destroyed and be accounted for accurately. But as I said, sans the practice of stealing and recycling. But that is another thing. Yan ho ang gusto kong masabi. Bago ko makalimutan, this is not the first time na nangyari ito sa ating bayan. I think that every new implementation of a rule or a measure or a regulation or something novel that is being introduced into the system of government, mayroon talagang nasasaktan unnecessarily. Kaya ako, nagpuputang ina dahil all these things you can avoid. Just a little bit of maybe humanity in you. Alam mo itong, hindi ko binasa kasi pag ayaw ko yun, bubuisit na ako. Itong beep card. This is not, wala si Tugadi dito yung mga tao mo, Art. Mag-introduce ka ng card, tapos i-publish mo sa newspaper, Manila Times or whatever, Daily Express, Mirror. Basta kaibigan ko, hirap ako mag-pronounce ng title nila. Tribune, isa ka pa. Tribune, lahat na. Mabasa mo itong lahat, mga Pilipino, sa opisina nila, especially the working middle class, it's easy for them to imbibe all of these things and know what to do next. Ang problema nitong lecheng ito is, you only publish it in newspapers and even radios na puro English. If at all, there is a time dedicated it for the vernacular. Ang problema, kulang. May mga tao hindi nakikinig sa radyo, lalo na yung mahirap sa kanila. Ano ba sa kanila yan? What is it in government that really concerns us, that really bleed their hearts for us? Wala. Basta sila, sunod lang. Pag sabi ng pulis, dyan, huwag kayong dumaan. Dyan, huwag ka, huli ka. The poor guy, yung wala masyadong means of yung transmittal, yung conveying of the news that are really worthy. Ito yung silang basta-basta kasanayan na lang. Now, itong beep na ito, beep na yun, okay yan. Wala akong problema. Ang problema ko kasi itong maliliit. At marami yan. Mas marami yan kaysa mga the so-called mga edukado. Mas marami yan sa daan. Mas maraming ignorante Pilipino kasi walang panahon mag-aral, walang pera, o kaya wala talagang there is nothing in life that would impel them to seek an education. So ito sila, pagpunta sa Quiapo, lalo na mahirap, dala lang nila yung tamang pamasahe. I don't know the exact fare. I have never tried riding a public conveyance nowadays. Matagal na. Magpunta yan doon, hindi alam yung beep card na bilihin mo, tapos diladala nila ng pera, tama-tama lang. Pagdating dyan, sabihin ninyo na sinabi na yan, binalita na. So, tatanungin ko kayo, sino ang recipient ng balita ninyo? Now tell me, do you have a classification of the persons that you have transmitted to the news strategy or setup? Ang problema niyan, ang masakit sa akin, yung walang kulang yung pera. At hindi sapat yung dala niya. Yung iba naman, may pera, hindi naman nakakasakay. Kasi beep ng beep nga eh. Alam mo, kung ganun ka, if that is how it is being implemented hurriedly, or it's or public interest that it be implemented kaagad, make provisions for these people, those who have not heard, those who will never hear it, and those who have really nothing in life. Magpreparar kayo ng ngayon sabihin ninyo, alam mo, baski yung mga loko-loko. Alam mo, sa totoo lang, ganito yan eh. Magdampot ka ng 5 gagong may dyan sa either police o yung mga gangster dyan. Yung may hawak, alam ng police yan. Sigurado ako, 100% sigurado ako. Dati akong police eh. Mag-pick up ka ng 5 dyan. Turo mo sino yung mga gago. Bantayan mo na hindi makahingi, hindi wriggle in by whatever style o reason. Turo mo lang. Kuha ka lang ng 5-6 dyan. Pag-pick up ka, halika dito. Teka, bigyan kita ng isang araw na sweldo. Magkano ba kinikita mo? Putang ina ka. Sabihin mo, sir, kita kami mga 500. O sige. Sabihin ko kay chief ko, 500. Tapos, yun ang magbantay. Yun ang magturo na yan, taga rito yan, taga rito. Madali yan eh. Kung gusto mo talagang gawin, madali. So, a host of ways to do it. Ayaw ko nang makita sunod na you have failed to make some provisions for this. You have to have extra beep dyan na magbigay kayo ng card na hindi mag-beep, mag-ek lang, okay na yan. Basta pasakayin ninyo ang mga tao. Yan ang gusto ko mangyari. Shabu on the riding public, na lot of them, yung iba, maglalakad na lang. Ako may experience ako sa gano'n na bagay, pero ayaw kong sabihin mo nagpapahiro ako. But, mga kasama ko sa dormitoryo, there are times sa buhay, may panahon sa buhay, meron ka, may panahon sa buhay, wala ka talaga. Matay ng tatay ko, wala talaga kami. So, ayaw ko na lang ikwento kung anong nangyari. Pero, alam ko, kaya ako nagpapasalamat. Hindi naman ako nag-umaarte sa Pilipinas. Yung mga original na taga Davao, alam nila yan. Yung mga taga Davao ngayon, nakikita nila, nagsumasakay na kami ng kotse. Yung taga Davao, mga 1948-50, nasabay namin, Sunny Dominguez, we practically had to hack the forest to survive. Eventually, kami ni Sunny Dominguez nagkapareho ng subdivision. But it was never really a thing that you would call a comfortable life, just like that. Kaya kami pumunta ng Davao kasi mahirap lang kami. Kung mayaman ang nanay ko, kung yung nyugan noon sa Iligan, alam mo man, pampamilya sa Muslim, sa lalaki man talaga lahat yan. Ganon rin sa Chinese. Sa Chinese, lalaki rin talaga yan. So nanay ko decided to, eventually she had her share. Land reform naman, natabla rin. Just the same, itong mga ito, wag ninyong sabihin na itong sa mesang ito. Wag ninyong may milyonaryo dito. Wala. Wala masabihin mo mayaman dito na komportable yung buhay. Kaya sa katandaan namin, nagtatrabaho kami. Kita mo ngayon. Yan ang istorya. Kaya huwag ninyo akong lukuhin. Kasi pulis ako. Pagka mayor ka ng isang siyudad for 23 years, mas pulis ka pa sa pulis. Sa totoo lang. You are more than a police than a police. Yes,
Mr. President, now that you have made the wise decision to convene the cabinet on the matter of the economy, may I suggest, Mr. President, that I share with you the results of the opening of school because it's also related in a manner of speaking
Yes.
to the economy.
Yeah.
I made an opening statement where I said that COVID-19, which has destroyed our lives and destroying our economy and society, we will not allow COVID-19 to destroy our children's education. Today, Mr. President, we had 24.7 million learners, and this is 89% of last year's numbers, and is higher than the 80% adjusted number which was assigned to us by NEDA. So we surpassed the target of 80% of last year's enrollment. Ang public schools, Mr. President, halos 100% ang enrollment sa public school. Pero ang sa next slide please, sandali, sige pa. Next slide, next slide, ayun. Makita natin na ang total enrollment ay 24.7. Every day, Mr. President, the number is going up. Sa public, 22.5 million, which is already practically 100% of last year's enrollment in spite of the pandemic. Ang medyo mababa, and this is related to what we were discussing a while ago, is yung alternative learning systems natin, which is the program for workers, for those who are out of school, who go to school during weekend, and which we consider the DepEd's favorite legacy program for you, Mr. President, bumaba ng husto. This is because those who have jobs, who don't have jobs anymore, cannot afford the costs already of education. At saka 52%, kalahati lang ang nakabalik. Ang medyo nakakabahala din, ang private schools, ang enrollment sa private schools, 2.1 million ngayon, and this is 1/2 of last year's enrollment from private schools. At dito natin nakikita, Mr. President, ang maliwanag na koneksyon ng ekonomiya at ng edukasyon. Dahil yung maraming walang trabaho, hindi na sila maka-afford ng pag-aaral sa private schools. Kasi sa public schools, halos 100% ang nangyayari. Pero ang tumigil ay yung nasa alternative learning systems, yung mga workers natin at mga out-of-school children, at saka sa private schools na halos kalahati. Ito na nga ay malaki na, Mr. President, dahil nung nag-umpisa kami last June, hindi umabot ng 20% ang nag-enroll galing sa private sector. So unti-unti nang tumataas. Ang paniwala namin, Mr. President, nang kung unti-unti namang bubukas ang ekonomiya at saka dadami yung mga tao natin, ating mga kapwa Pilipino na magkaroon ng trabaho, maka-afford na silang makapag-aral ng kanilang anak sa mga private schools. Nung beginning, nung nag-declare kayo po ng countrywide lockdown ng buong bansa, ang immediate na reaction ay sabi nila, mga senador, mga opisyal, at saka mga maliliit na grupo, sinasabi na hindi kaya ng DepEd ipagpatuloy ng education. Sabi nila, di kaya, isang very famous senator sinabi niyan, tigil ang edukasyon. At saka, while matindi ang debate natin sa coronavirus at saka ang bansa, ang ekonomiya, ang isang matinding debate din yung edukasyon. Kasi mayroong tinatawag na movement na tinatawag academic freeze. Tigil ang edukasyon. Hindi kaya ng departamento at kailangan hintayin kung kailan magiging possible na. Kaya ang sinasabi namin, yung pagdeklarar ninyo ng September 5, yun ang opening na magklase tayo, ay isang victory yan para sa education. Dahil itong mga kalaban natin ay nag-i-insist na education freeze. Gusto nila sara lahat dahil hindi kaya ng DepEd, hindi kaya ng pamahalaan. Ang nangyari, Mr. President, at ito ay nakaka-touch talaga dahil no less than the President, nagsabi siya he's willing to scrape the bottom of the barrel. You have the Department of Finance, the Department of Budget and Management, IATF, civil society organizations, lahat sila sa Senado, si Senator Christopher Lawrence Go. Ang dalawang committee sa Senate, they all came out and said na kailangan talaga ipagpatuloy ang edukasyon. So hindi lamang DepEd ang nagsasabing ipatuloy ang edukasyon, ang presidente nagsabi, ang legislature nagsabi, ang civil society nagsabi, and even our foreign partners, and Secretary Dominguez knows this, nagsabi silang hindi pwedeng itigil ang edukasyon. Kasi yung mga pag-aaral natin nagpapakita na paglalampas ka ng 2 buwan ng isang bata ay wala sa paaralan, malilimutan na niya lahat ang naturo sa kanya. Kanina, Mr. President, tuwang-tuwa akong mag-report na sa opening day lamang all over the country, lahat naming officials, Mr. President, kumalat sa buong bansa. Tiningnan nila, minanman nila kung anong nangyayari dahil simultaneous opening. 1.5 million viewers sa Facebook pa lang. At saka 371,000 engagements, napakaraming approval rating nationwide. At saka kung 24.7 million ka mga bata ang nag-enroll, Mr. President, ibig sabihin halos 50 million ka-parents, mga grandparents, lolas, ates, kuya, lahat, ang gobyerno, nagkaisa. Hindi lamang ang Department of Education, talagang they came to the support of education.
I'm happy to report na our collections, we have 3 sources of funds in the Philippines. The first source, of course, is the taxes. Okay, from January 1 to September 31, BIR and Bureau of Customs was able to collect 1.821 trillion pesos. That is higher than our estimate of 1.682 trillion. So we are 8.26% over our estimate. So our collections are good. The BIR and the BOC are doing a good job. Of course, the total collections compared to last year are lower kasi mas less ang business activity ngayon.
Expected.
Yeah, so we are 12% below last year. The second source of funds we have is loans. Most of our loans are taken from the domestic market. And I'm happy to say that since the BSP has provided a lot of liquidity to the banks and to the local market, we have been able to borrow from the local market. About 70% of our borrowings come from the local market, from pesos, and about 30% from abroad. So our loans from abroad are still coming in. We have signed up almost $9 billion worth of loans. The interest of these loans are very low and the term is very long. So we have to thank our multilateral agencies and countries like Japan who have been providing good financing for us. The third source of funds we have are dividends from our state-owned companies. Last year, the whole of 2019, we collected about 65 billion pesos from our state-owned companies as dividends. This year, we have collected already 130 billion from these companies. So we are in good financial position, and we can finance the deficit that we have. So we have not cut the budget. We also don't cut the budget because if you cut the budget, you will make the situation even worse. So people will lose their jobs and we cannot do our projects. So, because we have prepared well the train law, the rice tarification law, and all the laws that you sponsored have helped us in managing this crisis. So we are in a good financial position. We are not under stress. We have a good economy. What is happening is that this very strict quarantine is holding it back. We have to really open the economy more.
Pangulo lang po kasi ito po isa sa mga pinag-uutos ninyo. Yung tungkol po sa rollout ng mga telcos. The world and the country have gone digital. So, kailangan po talaga natin itong pag-layout ng mga towers because sa klase natin, puro online classes na. Doon po sa base na pinag-utos ninyo, mabilis na po yung pag-approve ng ating mga LGUs sa mga applications for permit and clearances. Last week po nung nag-usap tayo, 574 po yung na-approve. Tumaas po ito na 1,171 this week. So, ibig sabihin po, doble po. Ang natira na lang po ay 428 applications. Puro bago na po ito. So, ibig sabihin po ay complying at very commendatory po yung Manila LGU under Mayor Isko kasi ginawa nila one time, lahat talaga po ay in-approve nila. So, no more pending in Manila. So, I hope all other LGUs will follow. Doon po rin sa Bayanihan 2, Bayanihan Act as 1, Part 2, pinakinggan din po yung inyong utos po. May isang provision po dito sa Bayanihan 2, ang automatic rollout ng telcos sa pagtatayo ng PTTIs or Passive Telecom Tower Infrastructure. Ni-waive na po lahat ng mga requirements dito except building permit and height clearance permit. Automatic po, pag makomply nila ang permit, approved na po. And this will go on since last month up to the next 3 years. So, I don't think may reason pa po yung ating mga telcos na sabihin nahihirapan sila. Meron na po talagang provision sa batas para makapag-layout sila ng mga towers at magamit natin. Yun lang po, Mr. President. Thank you.
Yung may isang na lahat nandoon na. But I said I think it was approved by the barangay, but it hit snag again in the mill, in the grid of about 4 briefers ago. Ipahanap ko na sa sa staff mo. Nabasa ko lang.
From 8 months, 16 days na lang. May pinag-usapan kayo sa ARTA.
ARTA, DTI, DICT, DILG, and all other agencies. Meron kaming MOA doon. And then, this bagong batas, gagawa na po kami ng guidelines dito with ARTA, DICT, and DTI para automatic rollout na po ng mga towers. Tapos wala na po yung mga ibang mga homeowners association na clearance, barangay clearance, wala na po yung mga yan. Talagang we will really expedite the rollout of the telco towers.
Tsaka meron ring Senate bill, Mayor, which seeks to authorize the President during times of national emergency to suspend the requirements for national and local permits, licenses, certifications, and to streamline and expedite the processing for the issuance of the same. So, bibigyan ka ng authority. Including us, para walang masabi, it's very sad that this country has been, allowing this practice of delays and
the promoting the laggard quality of our civil service. Totoo yan eh. Naano ako na bakit pinayagan itong ganito na tag 2 months and nobody was really taking notice of it or raising a howl about these things. Na kaya nasanay ang mga buang. So they just sit there nonchalant about what would be the effect of their indolence to the overall picture of governance. So, ako, bakit hindi naisipan ito? Why would they allow 3 months, 6 months, 4 years? Kaya may ibang sa cabinet, I had to ask them to leave because despite of my pleadings, almost begging everybody to do it faster. Nangyayari ba na yun? And why would they allow, for example, like 1 month? I mean, it can be done in 1 week, 3 days. Ako, hindi ako nag-ano, but Inday, my daughter, has also followed it with more vigor and vitality. She has shortened it to 1 day. Ako noon sa Davao, 3 days talaga. If it is more than 3 days, explain to me in writing why it took you more than 3 days. Or else I will file. Diretso na ako sa ombudsman. I will ask you for negligence or talagang tamad, not doing your duty. And to say that all of these things are available to everybody. Para wala na rin including us, sara rin tayo. At least we were able to realize the folly. At least I have 2 years to make things faster. I did not see any success of the project because of the expedited. I only want to see things moving. That is enough for me. Mga kababayan ko, narinig naman ninyo pinag-usapan namin dito. Una, ang reklamo ko, yung mga Pilipino na hindi alam o walang kakayahan na makalakad kung saan sila pupunta, bahay, umuwi ng bahay, umuwi ng kung saan. And they were not prepared with this card. Kaya yung card na yan, card lang naman yan, ibigay na yan libre. Bakit pabayaran pa? We have been wasting so many billions to corruption. Tapos hindi maibigay. That's why I would like to talk to Secretary Tugadi next meeting because I would raise with him the possibility of giving it free. Yung first day of nakita ko, kawawa yung may mga babae na yun lang ang pera nila, tapos they have to take 2 travels, kulang na sila sa pera nila kung magbili pa sila. It was almost it breaks your heart really to for those na yung day-to-day trabaho ninyo. But kami dito sa itaas, nakikita namin and how it affects the human person. Trabaho namin yan eh. So, if there is no relief in sight, or if it cannot be done immediately, I suggest that we find the money and give it to the public free para walang gulo at saka lahat mayroon. Kasi hindi lahat Pilipino may pera. May pera ngayon mahirap. Money is really hard to come by. Butit lang makasakay sila, at least mayroon silang card. Give the card free. Yung para hindi yung pamasahe. Yung card lang na i-swipe mo, yung babayad ka doon. At least you are put on aware that you have this protocol modality na gagawin mo. Hindi sila wala siya mahanap ng card, pupunta pa sila ng kalukuhan. But pag-swipe mo, mga mahal kong kababayan, yung card lang i-swipe, pero yung card bibigay sa libre. Ang utos ko kung masunod. Pero yung pag-swipe mo, may bayaran ka. Bayaran mo. Kailangan alam ko mong magkano. So, wala na pera. Alam mo, Baklaran, Quiapo. Kailangan alam mo ang pamasahe dyan. O di wag ka naalala ko, ma'am, nung una kong sa Manila, mga 1 month siguro, pinasyal ako ng mga Bisaya. Alam mo, hindi ko alam. Akala ko yung mama, Bisaya kay mama. So, ang tawag ko doon sa Carriedo kami, rubber shoes. Sinabi ko doon sa babae, mama. Ano? Mama, sabi ko, hindi ako mama. Gusto ko tawagin aliw, mama. Sabi ko, ano pala itong putang inang mama dito? Kala mama na. Mama na you chew the beetle nut. Totoo yan. Totoo nangyari yan. Na, talagang Bisayang ignorante hanggang ngayon. Well, anyway, I'd like to thank you, mga kababayan ko, for bearing with us, listening, trying to get the gist of what we're talking about. So Monday we'll have a cabinet meeting, and there will be some far and wide decisions to make. I'm not sure that it will succeed, but at least it will be discussed for you. Maraming salamat po.